Welcome to Valley Politics. I'm your host, Terry Christensen, and today we'll talk with Pam Foley, a runoff candidate for San Jose City Council District 9 in the November election. Pam ran first in her district in the primary, winning 31.4% of the vote. But Kaylin Gallagher, her runoff opponent, was just 1 point behind with 30.3%. His campaign was a bit under the faulty radar of some observers, including me, so his strong showing was a bit of a surprise and assures a tight race to November. Their district is South Willow Glen and Cambrian, a comfortably suburban part of the city, and whoever wins will be a key vote on the city council. Possibly an ally of Mayor Liccardo, or maybe not. Despite several attempts, we were unable to schedule Kaylin Gallagher for our show, but Pam was able to join us, and you can find out more about either candidate on their websites. In community news, Erin Salazar will tell us all about the Exhibition District, a very exciting and innovative arts project in downtown San Jose. Then, on Where Are They Now, we'll conclude our interview with longtime community activist Bea Robinson Mendez. Last time we talked with Bea about her role as the founder of the organization that became Next Door Solutions to Domestic Violence. This time, we'll hear about her work to empower Latinos in our community. All this next on Valley Politics. Welcome everyone, and welcome Pam Foley.
Thank you.
So let's just start by having you tell us a little about your district, San Jose City Council District 9. What's it like?
District 9 is a wonderful neighborhood. I've lived there for almost 30 years. It runs from South Willow Glen down to Blossom Hill and a little bit south of Blossom Hill by Good Samaritan Hospital, over to Bascom, and then Highway 87. It's a moderate to conservative district. About half registered Republicans, about half Democrats, the other half registered Republican, independent, declined to stay.
Yeah.
So it's a very thoughtful community, a lot of homeowners, a lot of people who've lived there for many, many, many years. They love their neighborhoods. Hardworking community members.
And you're knocking on a lot of doors, talking to a lot of voters. How would you describe their mood?
It depends the time of day.
Oh, really?
And whether they're home and they're retired, or I interrupted them from working from home.
Yeah.
But mostly I would say that they're interested in chatting. They have a couple of issues that are important to them that they want me to hear about. Some are a little frustrated in national politics, and that bleeds over into local politics too, and we get painted with the national politics brush.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to know what our party affiliation is, and it's a nonpartisan race, but I will always disclose that to anybody who asks.
And disclose that to us now.
And I will disclose it to you. I'm a moderate Democrat.
Thank you. So what's a prime issue that people are talking about in the district?
That really depends on what part of the district you're in, but I would say public safety is high on the radar right now, particularly in the South Willow Glen neighborhood where I live and others. There have been break-ins just down the street from me, half a block down the street from me. There was a break-in just a couple days ago of some construction equipment and inside a construction trailer. So I would say that public safety is high on the list of the community. But other things that are important is traffic, and really road maintenance is huge. There are poor roads all over San Jose, and District 9 is no exception. Lots of potholes, lots of cracks in the street. Some paving is being done, but they're paving along certain streets like Hill Park in Door Park area they've paved 2/3 of the street but not the middle of the street. Neighbors are wondering why that is. So there's some inefficiencies going on in paving. I understand there's budgetary concerns, but let's do the job right.
So those are
I would say those are the three. There are issues that are very important to me that aren't on that list, such as housing, and that's housing for all, be it senior housing, homeless housing, workforce housing is really important that we focus on that, affordable housing, and then market rate has to be included in that as well.
Well, speaking of housing, the city's current general plan looks forward to higher density in all over the city, really. Well, all over is wrong, but in concentrations in urban villages around the city, which would include some parts of your district.
Right.
How are residents in your district reacting to that, to the prospect of densification? What's your position on it?
The residents don't like densification at all, and for a couple of reasons. One, they don't want their views to be obstructed by higher buildings surrounding them. These are neighborhoods of predominantly single-story, two-story, single-family homes. But the major concern is not the height, but it's the traffic that will be generated by multifamily or high density. For me, high density is where we need to develop, is what we need to develop. It needs to be done in urban areas like downtown San Jose, where we can incorporate jobs, housing, live, work, and play spaces,
and transit.
And that's you finished my statement.
Sorry.
And complete the transit corridor that we need to make into and extend Deer Dawn Station. So that's why downtown makes sense to me. It really doesn't make sense to have high density in parts of District 9. I know the city wants it along transit corridors, and I can see that, but that's difficult in District 9.
What about Cambrian Park Plaza? That's a big project proposed in your district. I know there's been a lot of community concern expressed. That would be higher density, and does that include residential?
It includes residential, commercial, hotel. There's a convalescent home that the builder tells me is really going to be assisted living. There's a lot of housing built into the plan that conforms to the general plan. The builder, Weingarten, wants it to be a signature project, which means it sort of jumps to the head of any development. And a signature project has its own requirements of how much housing the city that it must have. But my role, I've been very involved in Cambrian Park Plaza. I think it's really important for the next city council person to be very involved and very aware. There's an organization called the Friends of Cambrian Park Plaza, and I've been to those meetings. I've met with them several times. The developer reached out to me, wanted to get my point of view, told him the buildings were too high and I didn't understand why there should be a hotel there. But the role of the city council person I see is to really advocate on behalf of the community, get what we can, make it a beautiful project that the community will love, will enjoy, will spend time there and spend money there too, and keep it a thriving part of Cambrian. It can be done. I think there's going to need to be some compromises on all parts, but my job is to make sure that we have a lot of more outreach with the community.
That's going to be a tough one.
It is going to be a tough one.
I'm sure you're aware that homelessness is a big issue citywide. It must be an issue in District 9 as well. Do you think District 9 is doing enough? Is District 9 doing its share to deal with homelessness? You got any shelters?
I don't know what that means, Terry, doing our share. If you ask the residents of District 9, they have sympathy for homelessness. But they don't have sympathy when trash is being thrown from behind 87 to their backyard. Or where they feel that the quiet enjoyment of their home is being disrupted by people who are yelling and screaming at them, who may have mental illness, who may have drug addiction. Is District 9 doing enough? I really can't answer that question. It's a citywide problem. It needs to be resolved citywide. I know that District 9 had one area that was targeted for the tiny homes that is now off the table because that community, Thousand Oaks, has created a park, an urban park reserve there, and so it can no longer be used for the tiny homes. I happen to support that effort on their behalf. Or they did it, I just happened to be there, and I support their efforts, let me put it that way. I think as taxpayers we're supporting it. I think through Measure A dollars we are supporting it. Property owners are supporting it through our bonds that are attached to our homes. So I'm going to push back on you a little bit on that question,
that's one
Terry.
level of support.
Yes.
But it looks like all districts are going to have to take a little bit of the responsibility for sheltering, for specific shelters for the homeless.
If we can provide the wraparound services
Absolutely.
and the transit that's needed. And here's the
Absolutely.
problem with District 9. We don't have a lot of decent transit.
Yeah.
So you solve the transit problem, then I agree with you. And I'm not saying we shouldn't do something.
Yeah.
We absolutely should do something, but we need wraparound services and we need the transportation for the homeless population. Otherwise, how are they going to get their services? How are they going to get to work?
To any project in any
Absolutely.
part of the city, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You're quite correct.
Absolutely.
A related problem that a lot of parts of the city, I don't know if this is true in District 9, but you know, it's the proposal for the big Google project downtown. And overall, that sounds great. Google is a great employer. It's a great industry. It's a lot of money. It's tax-based enhancement. As a prospective council member, I'm sure you're conscious of that. But what a lot of neighborhoods are worried about and residents are worried about is displacement because of rising rents and rising home prices. Do you think, where do you draw the line on responsibility for addressing displacement, anti-displacement policy by the city? Does Google have some responsibility? Even if District 9 isn't very concerned about this, you're also going to be affecting all of us in all the districts on issues like this.
Absolutely. So this is, I run for city council in District 9. I get voted into office by people who live within District 9, but I represent all the citizens and residents of the city of San Jose, much like my school board position.
Mm-hmm.
I run as a school board member in Willow Glen, but I represent all 30,000 of our kids. I mention that position because San Jose Unified is very involved in the Google project. We have a seat at the SAG table because that's where Google project is San Jose Unified land, in essence. So if kids live there, if there are any kids who are living there or displaced from there, they're our kids. They're San Jose Unified kids. So I'm very worried about the displacement, and everybody should have a stake in that. City Council should have a stake in that. The builders should have a stake in that. Google absolutely has a stake in that. And the schools should be helping by advocating and communicating with its population about what might happen. We don't know, but given what's happened with Apple and the high cost of housing surrounding it, the Apple effect and the Google effect, it may result in higher cost of housing, and the displacement is a very big concern. We're already seeing families who have to leave because because housing is too expensive for them to live here, and that's unattainable for us. We can't keep that going.
Your family business is a mortgage business. You're supported by the organization formerly known as the Chamber of Commerce, by the apartment owners, and by developers with substantial contributions to your campaign. How are you going to deal with that relationship when you get issues like rent control coming before you on the council, or anti-displacement policy, or development projects?
Excuse me, I'm
That's
sorry.
Okay.
Allergies. I will, and that sounds like I'm falling apart at this question right now.
No,
I'm not
at all.
Public, I'm not at all. Good question, and I've taken some heat by the people who've contributed to me. But I have to say that won't affect my decision at all. That's easy for me to say, but you have to believe it when you vote for me. So I will share with you that people who give to my campaign right now have given to me as money as school board members. It didn't influence my decision. You can check my records. They've lobbied me on charter schools, on development projects, and other things. Sometimes I recuse myself from the vote if I feel the perception might be that I can't vote on this issue and give it a fair shake. Whether It's the chamber who's given me money, and by the way, and I know you know this, there's a limitation on how much an individual or a corporation or anyone can give, and that's $600.
$600, yeah.
I've already given myself more than that. I've lent my campaign $20,000, so I'm more concerned about that than the $600 that one person has given me. And because I come from the real estate industry, I've been in the mortgage business over 30 years. My friends happen to be realtors. So that doesn't mean, these are single-family realtors for the most part. They sell single-family homes. They're not selling big developments. They will not be influencing my decision one way or the other. I will be thoughtful, open, honest, and listen to all sides of an issue, and then make the decision for the best interest of the community, as I do at San Jose Unified for the best interest of our 30,000 kids.
Okay.
And you can check my record on that.
We'll be watching. Okay, I have a short list of just yes or no answers.
Okay, good enough.
What's your favorite park in District 9?
Oh, God.
Oh, that was a tougher one than I thought.
That is a tough one. I like Door Park.
Door Park. Metro or Mercury News?
Mercury.
Who's the elected official in the county that you most admire?
Jeff Rosen.
Jeff Rosen's the district attorney.
District attorney.
Okay. And
who endorsed me
I'll
recently.
bet he's endorsed you.
He endorsed me recently.
Do you favor or oppose Proposition 10, that's the state ballot measure, that would allow cities to bolster rent control?
Is that the Costa-Hawkins?
Yes, it is.
Yes, I do not support the repeal of Costa-Hawkins.
Okay.
I would vote no on Costa-Hawkins.
And do you favor or oppose State Proposition 6, that's the repeal of the gas tax?
I do not support the repeal of the gas tax.
What about San Jose's infrastructure bond measure, yes or no?
Haven't researched all the details yet.
Same
I
with
have to see the ballot. I have to see the ballot measure.
What about the housing bond?
Same thing with the housing
Okay.
bond. I need to see the details. Ask me about the state ones. I support the veteran Jim Bell's bill and the mental
Okay.
health ones. I support both of those.
Okay, good, thank you.
Our local ones, I haven't read them yet.
But you better read up soon.
When it comes in the back.
Somebody else is going to ask.
When it gets mailed to me, I will.
All right. Pam Foley, thank you very much. We're completely out of time, but really appreciate having you here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Now on Community News, Erin Salazar will tell us what the Exhibition District is all about.
The Exhibition District is a nonprofit that was founded in 2015. The goal of the Exhibition District is to create economic and innovative opportunities for artists through city beautification at the intersection of arts and community development. We have two main programs, Fun Public Art and Local Color. Fun Public Art is a call to action against the beige walls of San Jose, bringing public art and paying artistic jobs to our creative community. Through grant writing and donations, we have executed 20,000 square feet of new public art in the last 3 years. The goal of Local Color is to reactivate shuttered buildings that are slated for demolition as creative spaces for artists. We are currently operating an art studio and creative community hub from the former Ross and Woolworths building at 27 South First Street. We're home to 15 art studios with 30 artists, a screen printing studio, a design lab, Local Color stage, San Jose Bike Clinic, a shop for local apparel, a gallery, and a community mural wall. Last year, Local Color was awarded one of 2 Night Cities Challenge grants made to the City of San Jose. You can come visit us Thursday through Sunday from 5 to 9 p.m. and check out our social medias for rad all ages events. Search for us at Local Color SJ. Thank you.
Next on Where Are They Now, we'll conclude our conversation with Bea Robinson Mendez, a longtime grassroots activist and leader, and truly an unsung heroine in this community. So we're getting into the 80s now, and now there's the Latino Issues Forum. What was that about? Why did you need another organization?
We needed another organization because there was a lot of needs, particularly in the Latino community, that were not being met. And we needed an organization that could respond to these needs and bring them in a more coherent and academic setting, say, to the elected officials, whether it was county or city, to bring their attention to it, and let's see what we can do about this. And there was 5 areas. We hired actually professionals, people, university professors, etc. One of them we hired was Joaquin Avila, a very noted, very famous attorney, to write. We had 5 areas. One was mental health, the other was employment, the other was juvenile justice, political empowerment, and I don't remember. There was
And
5.
one more.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
more.
But political empowerment is what you focused on, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. And so we had these reports. We had a huge press conference, and we submitted these reports to the different cities and the counties within the county. And I wrote the political empowerment one. I mean, I didn't do all the work. Joaquin Avila did.
Yeah.
But and that was a help in terms of districting. I mean, that led to a lot of work in district elections.
Mm-hmm. And that's district elections for San Jose Unified School District.
That was our first big challenge that we took on, and were successful in. And to this day, we have district elections in San Jose Unified
So
School
before
District.
the trustees were elected at large.
At large.
And were a lot of Latinos getting elected?
No Latinos.
Or none?
None were
Yeah.
elected. And then, as a result of convincing, after a long struggle, the San Jose Unified School District, then what happened, that triggered the San Jose Evergreen Community College District to also go district-wide. So that impact is still, to this day, in effect.
And previously there'd been no Latinos
None.
elected to that board either. And just a little before this, the city of San Jose changed to district elections
Exactly.
for city council too.
Exactly.
Which resulted in elected Latinas, a majority of women,
Exactly.
first African American elected council member. District elections changed a
Changed.
lot of things.
Changed a lot of
especially for the
things.
minority community.
Yes.
But also for neighborhoods generally, smaller communities within the larger city or school district.
And it gave us a power base.
Yeah.
That's what it did.
And for a lot of people, it was the first rung on the ladder to move up to higher office
Exactly.
as well.
Exactly.
Okay, so just these things weren't enough for you. You also had to start the Chicana Coalition.
I did.
Right?
I did.
So what was that about?
That was started because there was the feminist movement, the women's movement,
Yeah.
as we all know, was primarily started and organized by white women. And even when Latinas or black women tried to make waves and get into the movement, et cetera, and become leaders, they were rebuffed. So we were feminists, but weren't recognized as feminists because we weren't white. So I said, okay, fine, that's enough of that silliness. So I started the Chicana Coalition, and we would meet, and one of the things we discussed was domestic violence and how that was of prime concern. Now the organization is called Latina Coalition. They changed the name. And
Yeah, so that organization continues today.
It has things like leadership forums where
Yeah.
they train women to become to run for office,
Yeah.
to hold leadership positions, to expand their knowledge of the community, and to step up and be counted.
Well, speaking of running for office, you never have.
No,
No, and neither have I, because we're smart.
we're very smart.
But you've worked for an awful lot of candidates. Your brother Jose,
My
maybe
brother
was your first one,
he
right?
was the very first one. He
Juan
ran for
Vigil running for city council, Joe Cotto running for assembly eventually.
Manny Diaz.
Manny Diaz, Pete Carrillo running for city
Pete
council.
Carrillo, yes.
So we've had a fair number of Latino candidates, and we've got a big Latino population in the city and the county. Why do you think more Latino candidates haven't been successful?
Well, actually, the truth to that is opposite of what you just said. We're very successful in many ways. We have presently at City Council, we have 5 elected Latinos. One of them is the vice mayor, which is a very powerful position. We have Arenas, Sylvia,
Yeah,
and we have
Raul Perales, Sergio Jimenez,
Sergio Jimenez, and Rocha, Don Rocha.
And somebody says Sam Licardo's part Latino too.
Really?
Somebody said. I don't know.
I wonder.
I don't know.
Maybe that would be wonderful.
And we one county supervisor.
One county supervisor. And we had Blanca Alvarado, who was also
for a long
on the
time,
board. She was 2 terms. We had a 2-term elected mayor of the city of San Jose, Ron Gonzalez. That's a big accomplishment right there. And then he went into a supervisorial race.
And some assembly members.
We've had Manny Diaz in the 27th Assembly, the very first Latino ever.
Nora Campos.
Joe Cotto.
Joe Cotto.
Yeah. And so.
Okay, so I'm wrong.
You're very wrong in your premise, sir.
Dang. And what do you think of the future for Latino candidates?
I think the future is getting brighter and brighter, and primarily I say that because more Latina women are getting involved. And that's obvious, just in the makeup of our city and county. They're getting more involved, and I think there's more pride. A lot of people say politicians are, not that anything to be proud of, but I think they're little by little, because of the fact that we're electing more women, some pride in leadership in terms of elected offices is starting to come back. That's my hope anyway.
So, Bea, this is a lot of achievements that we've gone through on your behalf. Congratulations. But my question is, what was your biggest disappointment over all this time?
I think I've been extremely fortunate. I had a very loving mother who really, really let me dream and be myself. I must have been a terrible child. I remember scolding her for not knowing the names of all the planets. But anyway, she gave me a lot of leeway, so I was fortunate in that. But a lot of people have supported me in my efforts. A lot of people and organizations and businesses, and I feel fortunate that has happened. So I don't feel any particular. I hope, I'm not a young woman, I'm hoping to begin an endeavor with a friend of mine that's still in the very early stages, which I hope will make some changes in this valley. But I can't live forever.
Well, it's pretty great that you have a hard time thinking of a major disappointment. That in itself is significant for your career. We have a minute left, so final question is, if there's a young Latina watching this, or a young whatever watching this, what's your advice to them about a life of activism?
My first bit of advice would be something very simple and very easy to do. Go vote. Vote often. Look for things that need to be fixed and try to fix them. Don't ignore them. Pay attention. Go to school. Listen to your parents. And just plainly care. Care. That's what people who accomplish things do, it because they care.
Next month, we'll be back with a live forum with Don Rocha and Susan Ellenberg, candidates for Santa Clara County Supervisor, and Lori Smith and John Hirakawa, candidates for Santa Clara County Sheriff. We'd love to have you submit questions for these candidates, and you can do so at Valley Politics on Facebook, Twitter, or by email at valleypolitics@creatvsj.org. And stay tuned for details on how you can be part of our live studio audience on Wednesday, October 3rd. Meanwhile, you can catch up on previous shows on our website at creatvsj.org or on YouTube by searching for CreateTV San Jose. And now that's all, folks. Thanks for watching Valley Politics. See you next time.